6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The President says that those who protest against educational reforms should come up with proposals for a modern education system instead of advocating political motives. 1.5 million doses of Moderna vaccine will be delivered to Sri Lanka from US today. The Prime Minister instructs the relevant officials of the Tower Hall Foundation to provide its theatre halls to stage drama producers at lower rates. Another 1,447 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. The World Health Organization commends the services rendered by the Sri Lanka Army on the national COVID vaccination drive. News overseas, WHO urges China to cooperate better in COVID virus origin probe. And those are the headlines. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that those who protest against educational reforms should come up with proposals for a modern education system instead of advocating political motives. He made these comments yesterday during the launch of a City University program, keeping with the promise made in the National Policy Framework Vistas of Prosperity, according to PMD. Its first university is planned to be established in the next few weeks in Pinnavalla area in Kegol district. As a foremost step of the program, President Rajapaksa launched the official website to introduce the City University program as a concept at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday to coincide with the World Youth Skills Day 2021. The city universities will be established covering all districts with the aim of producing talented graduates equipped with the cutting-edge technology targeting the job market. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Minister of Health Pavitra Vanniyaraja says that 1.5 million doses of Moderna COVID-19 vaccine will be delivered to Sri Lanka from the United States today. The minister is to accept the relevant stock at the airport today. The vaccine stock is delivered under the World Health Organization's COVAX facility. Accordingly, out of 1.5 million doses of Moderna vaccine, 750,000 will be given as a first dose, and the remaining 750,000 will be given as a second dose a month later, the minister said. According to health sources, this is the first time that Sri Lanka has received a stock of Moderna vaccine. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa instructs the relevant officials of the Tower Hall Foundation to provide its theatre halls to stage drama productions at nominal rates. At a meeting held with the Tower Hall Trustee Board members, the Premier directed them to give the theatre hall facilities to the artist at a concessionary rate in order to promote stage drama industry. Accordingly, the relevant halls will be available for artists at new prices from 31st of August. The Prime Minister also instructs the officials to develop Sarasavipaya at the Elphinstone Hall in Mardana as an 8-storied multi-purpose building. The Ministry of Health reported that another 1,447 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. Accordingly, the total number of COVID-19 positive cases confirmed in the country thus far moves to 280,543. Currently, a total of 22,979 patients infected with the virus are under medical care, while the tally of the recoveries has risen to 253,953. Meanwhile, another 50 coronavirus deaths have been reported within the last 24 hours, increasing the total to 3,661. Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena thanked the government and the people of the United States for the assistance extended to combat COVID-19 pandemic and to mitigate the environmental and socio-economic impact of the merchant vessel Express Pearl disaster. Minister Dinesh Gunawardena conveyed this appreciation when the U.S. Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Elena Teplitz, called on the Foreign Minister on 13 July at the Ministry. And that ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The World Health Organization commends the services rendered by the Sri Lanka Army as the national COVID vaccination drive in the country. Intending to encourage and motivate Army personnel engaged in the speedily established walk-in community vaccination centers of the armed forces for vaccination, the country representative of the WHO, Dr. Ms. Alaka Singh, said the Army is successfully carrying out this program.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, Environment Minister Mahinda Amaraveera says that from the 1st of August, biodegradable lunch sheets will be available in all shops in the country and steps will be taken to make the use of such lunch sheets compulsory. Accordingly, non-perishable lunch sheets made out of polythene will be banned from the 1st of next month, and their production and distribution will also be banned. Also, steps will be taken to give a grace period of 1 month for the sale of lunch sheets which are currently in production. And that came to you in Watchlight. And in World News headlines, WHO urges China to cooperate better in COVID virus origin probe. Lebanon's PM designate quits over deadlock on cabinet lineup. South Africa government is to deploy 25,000 troops after unrest. And those are the headlines of the World News. The head of the World Health Organization has urged China to be more cooperative with WHO's second phase of the investigation into the origins of COVID-19. Dr. Tedros called for more access and transparency. The first phase of the WHO's investigation ended in February. The South African government plans to deploy 25,000 troops after days of widespread looting and violence. The military deployment is counter riots sparked by the jailing of former President Jacob Zuma. He is the biggest since the end of the war. At least 72 people have died and more than 1,700 have been arrested in South Africa's worst unrest in years. Lebanon's PM-designate Saad Hariri has given up trying to form a government following 9 months of deadlock, pushing the country deeper into crisis. After meeting President Michael Aoun to discuss his latest proposed cabinet of members, Mr. Hariri said that they will not be able to agree. The Sunni Muslim has seen several lineups rejected by Mr. Aoun, a Christian ally of the Shia Hezbollah movement. And that's World News.
Development News is brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Samruddhi State Minister Sehan Semasinga says the Saubhagya village concept under the President's Vistas of Prosperity Policy Manifesto framework has paved way for a massive village awakening in the Anuradhapura district. He initiated a pottery industry modernization program in the Pandita Rambava traditional pottery village recently.
Development News was brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, number 1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In sports, a former skipper and wicket-keeper batsman Kusal Janith Pereira is a doubtful starter for the upcoming T20 series and one-day international series against India due to a prevailing long-standing injury on his right shoulder. It was noticeable that Pereira was under severe pain and discomfort at practices the last few days.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
BOC multi-currency travel card MCTC is now upgraded with benefits that add more security and convenience with near-field communication and 3D secure authentication service for e-commerce transaction. Convenient and secured, the new BOC MCTC upgraded feature will secure travelers from possible threats that could deter and use the card confidently.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The central bank indicated it expects the banking sector to unleash anywhere north of 800 billion rupees in fresh private sector credit through this year. Albeit some slowdown during April and May, the central bank remains largely upbeat about the pace of a private sector credit, which hit cumulative 330.6 billion rupees in the first 5 months to May 2021. Accordingly, 10.5% growth, the highest year-on-year growth since March 2019, before the Easter attacks derailed the recent recovery momentum.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in Sabaragamu and Western provinces and in Kandy, Nuwara and Galle and Mathura districts. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in eastern and Uva provinces and in Mullaitivu and Vavuniya districts during the evening or night. Fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places in these areas.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Before we wind up this news podcast, let's look at the main points once again. The President says that those who protest against educational reforms should come up with proposals for a modern education system instead of advocating political motives. 1.5 million doses of Moderna vaccine will be delivered to Sri Lanka from US today. The Prime Minister instructs the relevant officials of the Tower Hall Foundation to provide its theatre halls to stage drama productions at lower rates. Another 1,447 persons have tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday. The World Health Organization commends the services rendered by the Sri Lanka Army on the national COVID vaccination drive. And with that, we conclude this morning news broadcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.